Good morning, everybody, and here we are live from Skye. We're just getting some water here beside us. I'm going to change the light a little bit so that it's... so how's everybody doing? We are obviously on our very first day, and we should be okay at this stage, I would like to think. But we're just going to talk through some of the questions that you may have to ask, but also some of the things that may come up during the fast, so that you're really clear that everything that's happening is completely normal and natural, and there's nothing to worry about. Because if this is the first time you've done it, you'll be super hyper about the body and doing. Let me get rid of that. I'm just getting all these settings sorted for the social so that everybody can see it. Sorry, just bear with me 2 ticks. Great stuff. So how's everybody feeling? We stopped eating before 6 last night, and we are obviously going to eat again on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. That'll be the 72 hours. It's the big 72. And we are going to be basically super busy all day, every day, keeping ourselves distracted from any feelings of hunger. Now, what's going to happen over the next 24 hours? There'll be metabolic changes, hormonal changes, psychological changes. That's an absolute given. What can happen in your body is you may start to feel tired, you may start to feel hungry, you'll probably start to feel hungry. It's not like you don't feel hungry. It's just that you have this feeling that we call hunger. Sorry, I'm just getting my music off. We'll have this feeling that we call hunger, and normally what we do is we eat that feeling away, because that's what hunger is. It's feeling. That's what we get through the body. There's something happening here. It's time to eat. And obviously we need food to survive and to energize us and to give the body the medicine that it needs. But on occasion, it's incredibly powerful to take the food out and give the body a break. So the insulin obviously will start to drop. What can happen is you might get crabbit. You might get these feelings of hunger, and the mind might come in. Probably will. I mean, you're best to just know what to expect, and then you can go, all right, okay. Because what we're doing here is we've got this voice in our head, and we've got this voice in our heart that says, this is what we're doing. I'm giving my body this time, this gift of energy. Because remember, 80% of our daily energy goes on digesting our food. And that's if it is food. And that's if your digestive system is working perfectly, which pretty much nobody's is. So a lot of our daily energy goes in digesting what we're putting in the body. So when we take the food out, obviously the body gets all that energy back. To do what? To repair, restore, and rejuvenate. Now, anytime you're doing any kind of healing diet, protocols, etc., there can be levels of discomfort. Let's not lie. Nobody really wants to change. Nobody really wants to not eat, because it is so good to eat. But what we're doing is we're saying, right, okay, just for a short space of time, 3 days may seem like a lot to you if you've never fasted before. But it's not actually. If you've done a 10-day fast, 3 days is nothing. So everything's relative, and it's all starts and finishes here. So how do you cope? These lovely ladies are here with me. I've got a big stick, so they know they're not allowed to eat. They're going to be distracted. We're going to be doing lots of really cool stuff, and we're going to be making the most of the state that we're all going to be in, that we're going to create by not eating. So expect that you could be tired. Expect that you could actually be the complete opposite. Sometimes I wake up and I'm just don't sleep that much through the night. I mean, I've done tons of fasts, so I've had different experiences almost every single time. So just expect the unexpected. Your body is very different from everybody else's based on all the information that we're carrying around. So you may get tired, you may not. You may get really alert and awake and hyper, or a variation of somewhere in between. You may get like almost like flu type symptoms, but you feel a bit achy and like not great. Again, that's not that usual, but it can happen, and it also depends if you were eating everything out of the sweetie shop before you started the fast, which I know a lot of people do. I don't understand it, but that's just human nature. It's like if whatever you're going to stop, you want to do a lot of it before you stop. So then that gives the body a lot of work to do. So if we, in the beautiful ideal world that we're moving back to, we're eating real food, full of enzymes, full of fibre, full of nutrients, full of minerals, and all our macros, then the body can utilise that food. And if we're eating it in the right quantities, in season, etc., all the stuff that none of us do now, including me, then the body can work with it, and it's very natural and normal for our weight to fluctuate. I mean, that's the genius of the body, because we would eat seasonally. And obviously in the summer, we would eat a lot of berries, in Scotland as well, because they grow wild. Brambles, raspberries, blaeberries. And we maybe gain a bit of weight then, which would be helpful for through the winter. And maybe certainly vegetables and fruits were completely non-existent. Maybe potatoes would last. You know, think about what we indigenously, before the supermarkets and before fridges came, what you would do. And of course, we have a winter here that would allow things to survive a bit longer. But if you're thinking, we would ferment, we would pickle, we would salt things through the winter, but we would definitely be living on a lot more protein then, maybe some starchy carbs as well. And then we'd come back. So we'd be working very much with what was coming from the land during the different seasons. And we've moved away from that. We've moved away from everything, all the natural cycles, even our womanly cycles, because now you are usually in a work environment. Most people are working, and they can't listen to their own cycles if they're feeling, right, I need a bed day today. You can't do that. Or I need to take it easy today, or maybe I take a day off the fields today because we have to work. That's a crazy way that we've made our lives, mortgages to pay, etc. Then, of course, we put on lights to keep out the dark. We put up dark blinds to keep out the light. I mean, we're unbelievably dumb. And so we're literally, this body, which is nature, which communicates with nature, communicates with the elements, it cannot, it's not got a clue what's going on. And the kind of lights as well, which is another thing, the LEDs that we all went to thinking they were great, money saving, good for us. Well, they're not that great either. So what, in the ideal world, we're looking for as much natural light as we can have, because obviously the frequency of the light comes in through the eyeballs and into the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, and synthesizes and creates our levels of vitamin D. So if we are not outside, we're going to be deficient in vitamin D. It's just a given. My friend was a GP in Glasgow. He said every single person they tested was deficient. We live inside, and you look outside today and you go, it's not really any wonder, is it? Because it's pretty wet and windy up here. So what do we do with that? How do we bring things into our life that can counteract the negative effects of not being connected to nature and our food? And fasting is absolutely, hands down, a total no-brainer. And intermittent fasting, if you look at the post I put up with Andrew Huberman yesterday talking about intermittent fasting, which has been our January challenge, everybody should be doing that. They're eating within a 7 to 9 hour window. And it would appear from his research, and he's got a lab and he researches all this stuff, that even going to, a lot of people are doing OMAD now, the 1 meal a day, or taking their window down to 4 hours. There would appear to be no real benefit from doing that. In fact, sometimes the opposite, because you tend to overeat all at that one time. So the 7 to 9 window seems to be the kind of sweet spot, and it's so doable. It's just another habit that you need to create. So intermittent fasting, and then obviously going on to longer fasts, and there's so many different ways to do it now. People are, what about salt, electrolytes? What about this? What can I put lemon juice? No. Especially here, we have this phenomenal quality of water that's just literally running down through the hills, picking up on all the minerals and all the energy that it needs. So we're in a very blessed position this week to be able to drink that water and let the body do the rest. The body knows exactly what to do. The inner intelligence that every one of us has, it knows what to do. We just need to get out of the way. And what can happen is you'll start making up stories. What's not good for you? It was not good not to eat. Well, I tell you what, it's not good to eat junk food and processed food and poisons, which is what we're doing. So taking the food out, if you are sick, start with 24 hours. Just start with anything. You wouldn't go out and try and run a marathon if you've never run before. Start where you're at and just do that. See how you go, see how you feel. Do 24 hours and then maybe you stretch it to 36, etc. Obviously what we're doing now, 72 of us did the big 72. So that's a lot of people actually starting to understand the power of taking the food out and how you feel when you do it. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be meditating, because we've got the luxury, obviously, of this time and space. I'll be fine, Heather. You just kind of bag it in and leave it, usually. We've got our log burner, and we've got the mountain with the snow. We're going to be doing a lot of letting go of any food addictions, if anybody has them. Here's what they normally are: wine, just not a food, but people like a glass of wine. Bread, huge issue with bread. Sugar, obviously. Cakes and biscuits, any kind of processed man-made carbohydrates. These are usually things that people find difficult to keep cut out the diet. Now, I always say there's 2 diets as far as I'm concerned. There's one which is the healing diet, the one that you do while you're trying to get the body back into a good state. That's like you get the gardener in, the gardener comes in, does all the weeding, cuts everything, trims everything back, gets it. So that's that diet. And then there's the maintenance. How do you maintain your health? So one will be much stricter, and obviously depends on what health issue you're dealing with. Sometimes you do have to be very strict with what goes in. And then you go on to the maintenance, and that is maybe a wee bit trickier if you've got food addictions. And sugar addiction is a huge issue in our culture because it's in everything. And some of us have become inadvertently addicted because we've just been eating shop-bought products with sugar in it. And if you make all your own food, then you know there's no sugar in it. Sauces, it's in everything. Sugar and wheat, they just put it because it pads things out, makes it taste good, and it's a shortcut, you know. And if you're busy and tired, and very often it's cheap, let's not lie, that's an issue as well. So that can be a problem in our communities for people that are that are on a budget and don't really maybe understand exactly what good food is, which leads me to what is good food. We've complicated food to the nth degree. Should I be raw vegan? Should I be keto? Should I be paleo? Should I be, what should I be eating? And that is just, you know, it's so different for everyone. And what I say to my clients is, choose a diet that you think you can stick to. When my friend Kathy Grout, who wrote Why Rabbits Don't Get Lymphoma, she healed herself in 9 months from Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And she did primarily the Bruce diet. And she looked at all the different diets, which is really smart and kind of obvious when you think about it, and thought, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Oh, yeah, I could do that. So you find what, because none of them work if you can't stick to them. And none of them have got processed grains, carbohydrates, man-made carbs and sugars in them. None of them. So that really is probably one of the main things that you need to know. If you can cut that out, you're on the way to healing and feeling better. Morning, Paul, how are you doing? So and the whole food thing I'm not going to go into just now because it's a minefield. And when you have a compromised digestive system, which so many have, leaky gut, fungus override, Crohn's, IBS, all the colitis, all of these digestive issues, SIBO, the list goes on and on. Then the foods that I might say are healthy will not be healthy for you. And the food combining, mixing your fats and your sugars can basically ferment in the gut, and that can cause real issues. So it's a wee bit more complex than just saying cut out the crap, but that's a good place to start. And then you have to pretty much learn about your own body and what foods work for you. And you'll know because you'll be drawn to certain things. I know that when I did my first 7-day fast, I started craving avocados. I actually stole one out of the kitchen when I was on my way out, and I was like, so what was my body was looking for? Fat. It was, that's what it was wanting. So you might be craving chocolate, but you know that that's an addiction. That's not your body actually saying, this is what I need to nourish and replenish and heal. So we'll talk a little bit more about that on another live, but really what we're looking at now, how do we get through the next 3 days without eating? What's the mind likely to say? Oh, I don't feel good, so therefore I better eat. And, if you've had any of your digestive organs removed, which again, lots of people have, you have to be mindful of that. There's no doubt about that, especially the gallbladder. So it's not that you can't do it, because you can, but you just have to be mindful about how it makes you feel. So the mind will come in. It's not going to happen so much for us here because we're all going to be doing it together, which is I really highly recommend. We're doing another one in Cretan in March. So if you want to come and be supported, get yourselves booked on there and come and do it in a group, because it's much more fun, much, much more fun. Plus you're given see the breath work when you don't have any food in your body. It's next level, absolutely next level. You can hear the body in a different way. And the other thing I need to also is sometimes things can go worse before they get better. And that's the beauty of doing it for the 3 days, the 24-hour fast. So you'll be going into ketosis. So we'll still be burning glycogen, sugar right now. And usually by tonight, and then certainly by tomorrow morning, pretty much all of us will be in a state we call autophagy, which is self-eat. So the body starts to basically get rid of everything it doesn't need, because it goes into a level of survival. It's going, right, okay, what do we do here now to clean this mess up? And it's probably started to do it already, starting to get near that. It's like, oh, there's no calories going in. What are we going to do here? And everything goes into action. I always think of it like Ants, the movie, where all the ants start to do things and they're like, take that there. Because we know this, the microbes can come out the cell membrane to get what they need to fix things. It literally is mentally intelligent. And also the other thing that blew me away that I've discovered recently was the body can even take on a virus or an infection. For example, if you have a heavy metal issue, which a lot of us do have, the body can bring that in to help break the metals down. That's the level of intelligence that's going on without us having a clue about it. So it's really, really incredible. Morning, Debbie. Okay, I'll see you later. So it's really important that we really know the lengths that this body's going to keep us in balance and without judgment, because we're like, I feel like I've got a terrible cold. Well, maybe the body's actually doing something really intelligent that you don't know about. Maybe it's upgrading. I always say this, there's no crime or shame in getting sick. None. It's the not getting well again that is the problem. That's what we have to investigate. Why? What have we done to such an nth degree that the body is not able to rejuvenate and rebalance itself? Because that's what it's always trying to do. And maybe, we know from German New Medicine, very often we come in. So if you're going from health to disease and disease back to health, there's a process the body goes through. And very often, if we come in and do a test at that time, we read it as disease when it's actually going through part of the healing process. And this is dangerous because, and this is why I know we need tests, but also they can be so detrimental. They can fill you with fear and they can be giving you completely wrong information about what the body's doing. So our job now is to really be educated around the intelligence within us, educated about the voice that yaks away, that's not even us. Say, you need this, you need that. So we'll be looking at that. I'm sure you'll be fine today. You will feel hungry. I'm fairly sure about that as well. But drink water, and I like to drink warm water because that just soothes my digestive system and takes that feeling away. What you will find is distract yourself, go for a walk, do something. It's all about distraction and getting through the next few days. And once it's the most empowering thing pretty much that we'll ever do is understanding that you've got the power to fast, that you can take foods out in order to give your body that time to do the repair and restore. And then if you're looking at maintenance, because obviously it's what do you eat before, what do you eat after? And there's tons of, again, contradictory information on that. Just eat real food. That's all. And if you want to lose weight, if you want to lose toxicity, keep your proteins and your fats high and keep your carbohydrates low. Also, if you know your blood group, that can be really, really helpful to understand, because your blood group's primarily about the natural digestive enzymes you have in the body. And so we have different ones depending on what our blood group is. So blood group O, which is a primary group in the UK, is hunter-gatherer, meat and 2 veg. No white potatoes, no grains and no dairy. So it can be really helpful to just do that for a few days and see how you feel. Other countries have got more primarily A, B, which is more vegetarian based. It's helpful to know, and it's how, because what you really need when you're healing is very clear guidelines. So if you're doing Gerson, for example, can you eat that? No. You can't go, oh, well, you can have a wee bit. No. It's got to be, there can't be any grey area. It has to be black and white. Otherwise, especially if you've got sugar and carb addiction, you'll crash off the rails and you'll end up binging on the food that you're addicted to. So keep taking it right out and just going, this is what I'm doing. Like alcohol. You just say, no, that's not what's happening. We're not doing that just now. And again, it's this one day at a time. Just today, let me just do this. If we stay out the future and think, I can't eat that for the rest of my life, well, we'll just be like, what's the point in even trying? Morning, Gaynor. See you soon. Thank you for leaving your tuning forks. That's very kind of you. We'll be using them. So, yeah, it all starts and finishes in the mind. Can you look on this as a really exciting, healing few days? Excited about how you're going to feel. Excited that you can drop all your labels about, I've got this, I've got that, I've got the next thing. No, you don't. The body is communicating, it's giving you information, and that information can come in pain, it can come in brain fog, it can come in all these things. And they may feel worse because that's just how it works as we go into the detox. And then tomorrow we start to go into ketosis. Usually energy starts to come up. You will find maybe some people will be jumping around screaming with joy, other people will be lying down going, oh my God, why do I not feel like that? Because we like to compare, don't we? But know that whatever your body's doing, is exactly what your body needs to be doing, because I cannot say it enough. The innate intelligence within you will blow your mind when you fully start to understand it. And given that a third of our working population are off sick right now in Scotland, 800 people will get diagnosed, give or take, this week with cancer. We are in a really, really dodgy situation for our health. We have to take this matters in our own hands. We have no choice. So unless you want to be a victim of that, if you don't realise the power within us, we the people, to change this, to turn this around, so that these figures drop instead of continuously start to rise, we need to intervene. And fasting is hands down something that every single person that's watching this can do. Everybody can do it. It's free. And you know how I like free stuff. Getting in the cold water's free as well. That's another thing you can do. So I'm going to be back on tonight at 7 o'clock live, doing some tapping with you too, because usually, even with intermittent fasting, the tricky time for people is at night, because that's when you graze and maybe eat the rubbish. And I know that when I moved back in with my mum, when I moved back from Malta, where me and all my friends, we only ever ate amazing food, I moved back to Scotland and I was like suddenly back in a kitchen that had biscuits that I forgot even existed, and cakes, and because my mum wasn't well, people brought sugar and shite into the house. And guess what I started doing? Eating it, because it was there. So if you're in a position where you don't have to have that stuff in your house, get it out. It's so much easier if it's not winking at you. So, well done for even contemplating joining in with this. I understand it's not for the faint-hearted. Most people scream and run a mile still at the thought of cold water, at the thought of not eating. They just don't like the discomfort, and I get that, certainly. And I remember the first time I saw people going into the sea in Ireland, I thought they were bonkers. I was like, why would you do that in November? Mental. Then I could see, I thought, they're getting something out of that I don't understand. Fasting's the same. So start. Do you know, it's really helpful to try and fail, because then you know exactly where you're at, and then you can stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. And here's how it works. It's a social contagion. The more of us that do this, the more of us that will do it, and we'll find it easier and easier, because we'll all be doing it together in communities, and that's how it has to happen. And this is how we can actually stop getting sick. And that surely is what we've got to do. Anyway, you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you tonight at 7. Ciao.